Hey everyone, quick market update. We'll be going over, Bitcoin, a little bit of Bitcoin dominance and USDT dominance. We'll go over ETH and the strength relative to Bitcoin, and then we're going to take a look at two coins that, in my opinion, are going to have a major move. One of them being Dogecoin and the other one being SUI. And I'll give the potential setups. However, I have gotten the discords in on Bitcoin, ETH, and Dogecoin. SUI, we're already in, but I'm going to give an update, a more broader update on this here. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Taking a look at Bitcoin. So this is still range bound, right? Like we have our, one sec. We have our range highs at 71K, and then you have now a new range low here, right? Just a simple range. Okay. And you can draw the trend line and we're still within this trend line, right? So if Bitcoin is going to reject, it's going to reject from somewhere here, right? Now to those guys in the Discord, I got you guys in at 64.8. And I laid out my plan that I said above this level, if we are able to flip this level, then I am ultra giga bullish, right? Now, we had the daily close above. We retested it and we're closing above. Now let me tell you why this is kind of good, but also low time frame could be kind of bearish even though we close above this level. In order to do that, let me just quickly go back to this chart. And let's plot that point here. Okay, so this point here. It's a little bit different on perp charts for spot charts, but it's a very crucial line. So this is the ultra giga bullish line, and I'm going to make that blue. Okay, let's label that ultra giga bullish. Okay, so we see here that every single time we went above this and deviated back below, we just dumped, right? Like we never flipped it really to support until here. We broke out, flipped it to support, and then continued running for about like a 6% move or something, 7% move, and then never flipped it to support here. We had the breakout, we had the retest, and then yes, we held here, right? There's the closure above, closed above. This ran about another 4% before we lost it, and then now we're getting to that same exact point, but now we have a downtrend as well. So let's draw this, and I covered this briefly on my stream with Unity the other day, but we're still in this bearish order block, all right? So if we are to reject, this is the point to reject, because if we break out from here and we flip this downtrend to support, then yes, we gun for highs, and this time I don't think the highs hold. I think we actually break above into 84, 85K. Now, if we are to reject, I see this point here. Okay, this is the order block and a demand zone. All right, this is the area that we broke out from. Okay, resistance. We broke out. And then this is where you want to set your longs if we do get a pullback. This is an area where I gave my longs, and I said that we are having this type of play, and we're targeting new highs from here. I was actually targeting 77K first. This is an area where you want to long. Okay, obviously, if we ever manage to go back to range lows, that's where you're going to buy. But I don't want us to close below this level, and then, if we close the daily below 60K and turn to resistance, and we do something like this again, I don't want that. See how we closed below, we retested, and then went back down, back to range lows. I think if we do that again, no doubt in my mind that we will see 54K. So we're just going to play it range by range. That's an area where you want to long. If that doesn't happen, this is an area where you're looking for this flip. Now, why is this one a little bit more riskier than everything else? That's because we're heading into a weekend. Okay, if we take a look at all of these, so here, one sec. So see here, this was a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Deviation back under. Right here, Friday, well, a little bit higher, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, back into a deviation, okay? This is at resistance. Here again, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, deviation. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, deviation. We're ahead again, heading into this major resistance on a weekend. Are we going to pull the same exact thing here, or are we going to have a little bit of a different outcome and then burst upwards? So volume on weekends is pretty low. You will have those scam moves to either way. Just keep that in mind when you are positioning yourself in alts. And again, if we can just hold above here, some consolidation on this, or even if we take a brief pull and just consolidate here instead of going down here, this would be bullish as well. This would be another, we had a break of structure once we broke here, right? We made that higher high. Here's your higher low. Here's your higher high. Come back down maybe here for another higher low, or if we just consolidate under this resistance, then we will break through. That's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. Now, altcoins have a little bit of a different approach here because Bitcoin dominance is so high and it's looking for another bullish move. Now, if we take a look at the 4-hour here, here's the high, right? We broke out and actually flipped it to support. This does not look like it wants to stop. This is actually making higher highs and higher lows on the 4-hour. Now it's going to look a little bit different. You don't have that wick on the 4-hour, but look at this on the weekly. Okay, this is just going berserk, and we have this resistance zone here. It's actually this fair value gap. We haven't completely filled it. 60 to 61% is where I am looking for a rejection, and that is the area where I think that alts will go crazy. Now, if obviously, if we break down from this trend line, alts go crazy, but we have a wickless candle here, and this will get recovered eventually. But I still think we have that final push up before we, go back down and alts run. Now, USDT dominance, a little bit different, but these go hand in hand here. So take a look at this. Okay, we have higher highs and higher lows forming, but now we have a head and shoulders on support here. Okay, it's on the trend line, it's on horizontal support here, and it's honestly looking for a break into either direction. Break below, close below, retest, and dive. This probably dips about 20%, and alts go crazy, right? Or we have a triple bottom here, and we go a little bit higher. If we do go higher, I'm looking at this supply zone for a rejection and make another lower high and then come back down, right? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm eventually looking for this trend line to be broken. I'm looking for that little crazy alt relief. If this does happen, we do break down and we get that technical targets of like 20%. Alts will run about anywhere from 20 to 40%. Okay, because then our 20% comes literally at the support line here, and then at that point we have a break of structure. So maybe we get like a little relief, right, and then further down. I'm expecting November, December, and January to be bullish months, hopefully. So we'll see from there. And then ETH. Okay, so ETH still range bound, still hasn't broken out yet from this range, but it's very resilient on this Bitcoin dip. Bitcoin went from 68.5 or whatever it was down to 66.5, and then ETH went from 67 down to 5700ish, and then today, or this trading candle day was at 64.50ish. So ETH is showing pretty resiliency to Bitcoin, excuse me, but it's still range bound. Okay, so we still haven't broken out from this range. You can argue that we have this like sideways diagonal inverse head and shoulders, but again, we need to break out from this range. So breaking out from here is a very crucial area to do so. Otherwise, you're just going to play the range bound. Again, I got the Discord in on this. If we are going to get a range bound, you're going to look for mid-range here around, this would be your setup. Whoops, wrong one. Okay, this would be your setup roughly. The R&R is about 2R. You can tighten it up to get a little bit of a better risk to reward, but ideally, I would like this to hold. You have a trend line here as well, right? So coming back here from this does make sense. As Bitcoin is as ETH is holding pretty steady on Bitcoin dips, Bitcoin would have to drop like 2K, maybe 3K for this to happen, and that would end up into our longs around 63.3 to 4K. All right, so that's what I'm looking for on ETH. Again, just play the range. It's simple range bound from here. The range is actually here. Here's your range low. Okay, and then you have your range highs up here. Right, so play the range until broken, and take it step by step. Now, the most interesting chart in my opinion right now is Dogecoin. Again, I got the Discord in on this, but let's take a look at why. And all of Twitter is also, talking about this, and reasonably so, right? Like, very important level. Okay, so even back in 21, it held a support. We lost it, rejected from the resistance, broke out, flipped it to support, came back down, lost it again, deviated, rejected, and now we're back. Look at this weekly candle. Like, you can't get anything much more bullish than that, right? Obviously, yes, we have this, but this is a bullish engulfing candle. And this, look at this. We have breakout after breakout. I know this is a weekly chart. We can go to a 3-day, but every time this breakout, this goes crazy. All right, so here's the first break. I mean, I can take it to this one, 70%. I can take this one to that, and so far we've had nothing compared to the previous moves. Okay, now this again is a very crucial area to hold, or if we are to reject, this would be the area, but this is a bullish candle compared to this one where we just went and took out the equal highs here and then dumped, right? This is an area where we could go crazy from. And this inverse head and shoulders would give us a 40% move if this is flipped, which would also coincide with that 70% move. All right, so Doge is a coin that you want to have on your radar. I do think this will run, and if you are looking to short, do not short yet. There's no reason to short yet. I think you can get a perfect short opportunity from this 16 cents area to 17.5 cents. You have major supply and bullish, a bearish order block here, and that is where you will possibly look for a short opportunity. But if we are taking a look at this from a structure point of view, right? Higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low. Then we had the break of structure over here, right? We made a higher high, higher low. This is on its way to make that next higher high, hopefully a flip of this resistance, and then that push up. So even if we get a push from here to there, it's about 20%, which I will gladly take. So I do think that this is a coin that you want to have in your spot portfolio and a coin that's going to perform well, and any dips on this is one that you want to buy. Okay. Now the final coin that I want to go over is SUI. Now this went into price discovery, and I will keep this here so I can show you what that means. But actually, let's bring this down here. This is a pattern that I've talked or spoken about many times before. This is the bearish Quasimodo pattern. Now this is in an uptrend making higher highs and higher lows, right? So if this is your higher high, here's your higher low, here's your higher high, here's your higher low, higher high. This made a lower low into a lower high, but if we are able to push from here, you should get a short opportunity from here. Stops probably above the high, and look for that move back down. Now, trend line is still intact. We have not lost the trend line. Okay, so any move into like $2.25 looks like a good short opportunity. But if that's only if we get this move from here now, because if we start grinding lower, we're grabbing all this liquidity for that push higher, which we could actually go and put a double top then reject. So I want that push to happen now. Now, on a lower time frame, this is just a range. We are simply just range bound, and this is where I got the Discord in for a second compound. Let's show the spot chart. Okay, for a second entry of about 10%ish, but again, this is just a simple range. Okay, deviation back under. Now we've had 3 touches. It's going to be weak. There's a lot of people selling off, but if this was a lower low into a lower high, then you're looking for another lower low to be made. Where is a good place to get into SUI if you haven't? Let's go back to that perp chart. Okay, one good area to get into is going to be, let's remove all these lines really quickly. Okay, here, right? We've had resistance from here. We've had resistance here, previous resistance. We haven't had a successful retest. So that is an area where you would probably want to get into and start scaling from here down to about $1.75. Okay, again, just simple support, right? Resistance, we broke out, flipped it to support. So this is going to be your buy area. And maybe it comes back here. Everyone will call this, oh, it's going to be, a head and shoulders. And even if you get that relief bounce, right, like this is going to be a nice 10-15% that you can capitalize on. So if you are looking to get into SUI, I wouldn't buy into right now. These are not great candles. $1.94 down to $1.75 look to be a good area to get in. All right, so I'm going to keep this video short, just a quick market recap. And like this is all noise currently. Like even if you zoom out on the Bitcoin chart on like the monthly, this is ultra bullish. So yes, you can be bearish on a lower time frame, whether that the coin is Bitcoin, ETH, whatever. There's no way you can be bullish on this on a higher time frame. Okay, this is just, it literally put, okay, we literally tested 2021 highs, right, and we're closing above. And I think this is going to be a 3-day close, the highest 3-day close since August, right? So we're doing good things. Okay, so also Bitcoin premium for Coinbase is leading, not by much, but it's still leading by like $10 against perps. So this is still a good sign of more up to come. Just don't overposition yourselves and stay safe. All right, thanks everyone.